Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing back in on the personality profile of a psychopath, an individual who exhibits really a lack of conscience and a lack of empathy, and is termed an intraspecies predator, someone who has a real malignant sense of self-importance, and really is all about the individual, their individual needs, and not the needs of the group, not the needs of the whole of society in general. They're not taking that into consideration when it comes into their life, their lifestyle, who they connect with, who they approach, who they target, who they assimilate, who they basically claim as individuals who they want to focus in on and hone in on for satisfaction of their malignant needs. And it's very much important to realize that the psychopath really views life as a game to be won at the expense of others. So they, as most people, they're not going to feel really comfortable hurting others. If they do, they feel some sort of regret, sorry. They feel that they want to, change themselves. They want to change their behavior. They have a sense of regret or remorse. They want to, they don't want to violate that again. They want to avoid fighting. They want to avoid hurting other people's feelings, hurting them physically, emotionally. They don't want to ensnare them and trap them. Most people don't take a great deal of pleasure in that. A psychopath, really one of the interesting, I guess not interesting, but important to understand qualities of them is that they have a lack of conscience. They have no regret. They have no remorse really for the ills and the hurts that they thrust onto others or that they cause into others' lives. They basically feel, because of this lack of empathy or lack of really love or emotion in life, that they really perceive others who have these needs as inferior and weak and view those individuals as a source of contempt. So to have contempt for someone means sort of disdain, sort of scorn, sort of looking down on, really treating as, inferior or, what's wrong with you. It's worse than shame. It's a whole different level when someone has it's attempt of it's almost like a disgust that they have for people who have these emotive needs. And so what's very strange is that they will cause other people to feel bad, wrong, silly, embarrassed to have normal emotional needs. And since they don't have these, they don't have normal emotional needs. So to have that affection, to have that bonding, to have that heart-to-heart time, they will mimic this. They can mimic this in relationships because they're able to see that this is what people do. And it's just like, the gratuitous, I'm going to put my arm around you. But they don't do it to really they don't have a connection when they do that. It's all a mimicking. It's all a facade. It's all an outward show. And it's very difficult to really understand and grip this because the extent and depth of which the show that they put on is 24/7. I mean, it is all the time for them. And they do this as a way to get through their life. They really feel this heightened sense of superiority because they're not really inhibited by these emotional feelings or should I do this or should I do that. They basically look at it as a game to be played. And, if I need to marry this person to get this, if I need to have their kids to get this car, I will just do it. And they do it very objectively. It's a very objective, just matter of business. It's a business transaction for them, basically, to engage in marriage and relationships. They do whatever they can. They create stepping stones in their life to get them what they want. And they know eventually that even though these people give them their heart and their soul and their attention and their time and their resources and their love, affection, they become very charmed, very allured, very trauma bonded to these individuals. And they see it coming and they know that this person, wants the real thing. They have a cognitive understanding that this person, they don't have a true empathy. They have a cognitive empathy, which means they're able to kind of intellectually understand that you have these needs for your hand to be held. So, I'll just hold their hand. It's not because I want to hold hands with you. It's to satisfy a mimicry with which they will basically give the individual who they're targeting what they need. And then if you'll observe, they'll kind of be able to, once you're with these individuals for a while, you'll kind of sense that there's something a little bit off, or you feel kind of like they're emotionally, you can be standing next to them and they're just kind of like distant, and I think in the beginning, a lot of people tend to feel that, like, oh, this is just, what successful relationships are like. Like, we can just be together for this moment. We don't have to be talking, but yet when you feel it, you can feel this really sort of coldness, and for lack of a better term, it's just like a darkness. It's a predatory consciousness, and so you can feel this lack of conscience emanating off of this person's body, and it's either very cold or it's very, very hot. And this might sound strange to people, but if you have experienced this, you know what I'm talking about. And I think it's very important to understand and educate the public that there are these types of individuals who prey on others. And you've heard about it. Oh, they might prey on kids, or, you hear about this and this will never happen to me, or, it would be different than this. Like, I would never expect this to happen. Well, of course, you would never expect this charming, good-looking guy to con you, or you'd never expect this, hardworking, dazzling, good person to violate you, betray you, and lead a double life, and then inflict all sorts of incredibly devastating wounds, physically, emotionally, financially, into your life that you just don't even feel as humanly possible, because they don't have a conscience. They're able to conduct their lives in ways that are truly disrespectful. Even disrespect isn't a strong enough word. Violating and predatory, and with scorn and kind of like a really hatred for those people who they target, which is so difficult to understand, because they can be so emotionally, physically, and sexually involved with these people, but yet they have contempt for these good people. They have a scorn, and so they try to isolate them and get them to kind of, overwhelm them and overtake them to satisfy this pathological envy that they have. So then, these individuals who are targeted end up, being seduced by all this overwhelm and charm, and then begin to participate in all these behaviors that are try to, live up to this perfection, which is just completely a brainwashing. And so they get kind of physically ensnared. So it's important to realize that this lack of conscience is really what is going on in this individual, and it will cause a lot of alarm and fear and things of this nature, where it gets you to be very hyper vigilant and kind of almost think in a out of touch with reality sort of experience, because really the psychological takeover that these people engage in is to get you just there. So basically you're open to suggestion, you're easy to be violated. They're gonna look for those people who want a relationship, or who have a certain naivete or a very good heart, very vulnerable, very caring, very loving. Those people who are very empathic. Those are the people that those individuals target, because they're able to kind of assimilate your energy while they're targeting you, and break you down through the texting, the photographs. They're able to see what a true feeling person is like, and so they have rapt attention on these individuals. It's just important for you to, I think, understand that if you've encountered really extreme psychological torture and overwhelm as a result of these individuals, you're dealing with someone who's extremely emotionally manipulative, and these are the types of individuals which we call psychopathic in nature. And I want you to really realize and focus in on kind of some of the intuition that you are picking up on, and really sort to skate away from the denial and that sort of thought process that has become kind of a rhythm of fear in your life. And as we work through the healing, which is realizing that this is how these people interact and how they overwhelm you, that has nothing to do with you. You're not at fault. You had naively been strung along by this individual. just realize that, this is the after effect. This is the aftershock of being with these individuals. So it's very important to go no contact right away. Don't engage, don't focus on them. Start filling up your mind and your heart with other things that are truly human, that make you you, very comforting, very warming, very nurturing. Get out, get outside, get with some nice people. I mean, it sounds funny, but seriously, just, reach out to people in a casual hello, wave at a baby. I mean, pet a puppy. It sounds funny, but begin re-engaging in these very self-nurturing behaviors and reaching out to the good and wholesome parts of life. Give compliments to people. Give people a smile, and someone will smile back. Just begin to engage in these rehumanizing behaviors, because oftentimes it is this goodness which the psychopath has targeted and has made you feel ashamed for having these needs, made you feel humiliated for having these needs, and has caused this sort of internal judgment within your mind that tells you, you're weak, or, there's something, embarrassing or shaming about wanting to be close and, being in love with someone, that there's something wrong about that. And then they're going to find a way to humiliate you for wanting those things. So be very, very careful and be attentive to this sort of inner critic or this inner judgment that is stifling you or makes you feel uncomfortable when you try to reach out to people in a wholesome, loving, true, authentic, and generally genuine emotional manner. Peace and harmony with you here today. This is a very important video. I hope these videos help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.